Hey, what's going on, guys and girls? Cody here with some domination on firing range. Now, before we start talking about the gameplay, I just want to point out that this is kind of a different take on my how to play like a pro format, which if you haven't seen is basically where I break down key points of the gameplay and discuss them in greater detail. Now, the difference here is typically I interrupt the gameplay to bring you guys the analytic points of view and the breakdown parts and those sort of things. Instead, you'll see panels like this one right here slide in from the right hand side of your screen, and you can actually click on those, and what that'll do, that'll open up a link to, in a new window, to those analytic videos. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's going to give you guys the option of watching those breakdown parts of the video if you want to. If you find those points of view helpful, or entertaining, or whatever it might be, then you can watch them, and if you don't, then you don't have to watch them. It's all up to you. So this gives you guys more options, a little more interactivity, and kind of a little more say so, I guess you should say, in how the video actually works out. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you like the format. If you don't, be sure and let me know, and let me know if you do like it with some ratings, comments, and that sort of thing. But if you don't like it, I can easily revert back to the original format. Okay, so anyway, moving right into the gameplay, I'm pushing up toward this thinner area. We're trying to take control of the domination points, and the best way to do that, and the best way to take control and defend any objective on any objective game mode is to set yourself up a good perimeter in a good point of the map. Where you spawn, where the enemy players spawn, what position that you actually hold on the map can really change the dynamic completely on the game, and it changes how the game is played. For instance, where we originally spawned over by C-Dom, that was an okay spawn area. There was a problem with it though. If we're going to want to win this game, then we're going to have to capture, defend, and maintain at least 2 domination points at any given point in time. Otherwise, we won't acquire enough points to actually win the game. The problem with our spawn area is we really only had a good sight on 1 domination point, and that was on C. So we had to put ourselves in a position, get ourselves in a position that we could easily defend and easily have sight lines on at least 2 domination flags. This is critical thinking when you're playing objective game modes and deciding where you're going to set up. And you can actually control to some extent where your teams are going to spawn, and you can even to some extent, if you have a good team that you can coordinate with, you can control where the enemy players spawn. For instance, where we are now is where the enemy players were actually spawning, and what we did is we pushed up, we kind of flanked around from different sides. It only took me and one other teammate to actually effectively force the enemy players out of their spawn, and once we did that, we actually caused them to change spawns. They started spawning down toward the bottom of the map near the firing range, and this changed everything completely for us. This gave us the advantage of having higher elevation. We had great sight lines, not only on the domination points, we also had great sight lines on the choke points, or the pathways that the enemies would actually use to try to come into the interior of the map. So we were able to pick these guys off pretty easily and keep them pretty much keep them at bay, keep them in their spawn area. And we were able to hold ours down with almost no trouble whatsoever. So once we managed to set up good defenses and get a good part of the map where we could easily defend and comfortably defend, it was pretty much just domination from then on out, no pun intended. So this is why I like playing with a team or a party when I'm playing objective game modes. If I'm playing a kill-based game mode, or something where teamwork may not be as advantageous or as necessary, then that's fine. Really all you have to worry about is yourself and the kills that you get and the deaths that you get. But in these types of game modes, you've really got to coordinate things, and it's not just coordinating who's doing what, and who's obtaining objective points, who's killing people, and that sort of thing. It's also determining how you position yourself on the map, how you maneuver through the map, where you position each teammate at, and it's very critical to know where you are defending, the area around that area. Anyway, the area, you know, around what you're defending, if it's a building, if it's just one specific domination point, or a bomb site, or whatever it might be, knowing that area, knowing where your teammates are defending or where they are spawning. You need to know all this type of things, and you need to be in constant communication with your teammates about all this type of information, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself making mistakes. You're going to find yourself in situations where, like, let's say if I was holding down the building that I was actually in earlier. Let's say that I was holding that down and there was somebody holding down a trailer and they get killed and my teammate doesn't relay the information for me. I won't necessarily know to be looking in that general direction. They could easily take out the C domination. They could move in or come around for a flank. That's a great position to come around to flank us from, and I would be completely vulnerable because I was pretty much in that building most of the time by myself. So having good communication with your teammates, letting them know where enemy positions are, letting them know, who's who's defending what flag or bomb site, where the enemy players are as far as in relation to these objective points, and also letting them know when you die and who killed you or where they killed you at. Okay, this is going to be important. So you want to get yourself set up in a good position of the map, maintain map control, try to control the spawns, coordinate with your team and say, hey, you know, I go this way, you go that way, we'll flank around, we'll force these guys out of their spawn, push them into a spawn where we know we can hold them. And that's another thing you got to think about is you don't want to have the enemy player spawning in any general region. You want to try to control where they spawn, and do that by securing areas that you would rather have, that you don't want them to spawn at, and then eventually that they'll start spawning the areas that you want to, so you can kind of control them in that aspect. But in any case, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you find it entertaining or educational, whatever. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure and rate and subscribe and all that good stuff. Alright, peace out.